This just in, pediatric dentist on social media is telling families that candy is not bad. Hey! What you've heard about me is true, guys. I am out here telling people, as a pediatric dentist, board certified in the United States, practicing part-time, a mother of 3 young kids, ages 7, 5, and 3. My name is Taylor McFarland, DDS, and you heard it here first. Candy is not bad. You might have seen some of my videos like this one on TikTok, and I'm trying to bring up some conversation around this topic.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Or how about this one about almond moms, which is what I try not to be.
My dad gave me a piece of my Halloween candy today. Oh.
So have you guys heard that term, almond mom? If you're not on TikTok, you may not have heard it, but it's this type of parent, not always a mom, but usually that was like big into dieting and like Atkins and low sugar and low carb. And it's sort of this pattern that you'll see in orthorexia nervosa, where they vilify certain foods if they're not clean or they're not organic or they're not healthy. Those foods are bad and therefore you have to avoid them. It's carb counting and it's like, hey, better to let it go to waste than to live on your waist. Stuff like that. That's almond mom. They drink Fresca. They don't let their kids eat their Halloween candy. That is not me. I'm trying not to be that because I want my kids to have a healthy relationship with food. If you need a great dietitian to follow, Dr. Taylor Arnold is here on YouTube. She's got great free courses. She's also very active on Instagram and on TikTok. I'm gonna link her below. Her handle is Growing Intuitive Eaters Taylor Arnold, and she has some wonderful information. I'm even going to share a TikTok from her in here that talks about what her passions are, which is kids and nutrition and how to have a healthy relationship with food. And that's what I'm all about here and why I say candy is not bad. Candy is morally neutral. It is an enjoyable food. It tastes good. It is carbohydrate rich and it is not bad. So first, let's address the trend going around called switch switch. It's the idea that you let your kids keep like 5 pieces of candy from their bucket, and then you put the rest of the bucket on the porch, and the switch witch or the Halloween fairy comes and takes it away and either trades it out for money or toys or something else. But what you are doing and what I'm going to show you in this TikTok and that Dr. Taylor Arnold, the kids dietitian, talks about is you're essentially making that candy more desirable for your child.
Kids can keep 5 to 10 pieces of their candy and then they give the rest of it to the Good Witch of Halloween.
So something I noticed in this video is that the creator said her intention is to keep her kids from eating all the Halloween candy and from sneaking it. Here's something counterintuitive about food parenting and feeding your kids sugar. At least it feels counterintuitive to many of us parents today. Overly restricting certain food items can actually increase seeking behaviors for that food. Really restrictive food parenting approaches increases the likelihood that your kid is going to sneak or hoard their food. So by taking away their candy, maybe we're increasing the food sneaking. So if we really want to reduce the food sneaking, we need to take a less restrictive approach and focus more on the healthy relationship with food rather than just controlling sugar intake.
But there are studies showing that restricting food actually makes it more desirable. Would you say that's true for you as a grown-up? We actually don't want to treat candy in this way. We don't want it to be special. You don't want to have to earn it. You know, it's not a cheat day. It's not food in general, not something you have to earn, right? I hate all the diet culture and nomenclature around food. There's so much disordered eating out there and we are seeing it already in really young kids and we don't want that. You want them to have a healthy relationship with food. So in our house, what we do is candy is readily available and it is available to eat at certain times. That is how you mitigate cavity risk. I talk about that a little bit in a TikTok of mine where I talk about my daughter being obsessed with lollipops. She loves Dum Dums and she really wanted some. And so what did we do? We got a whole giant bag of them in a big clear glass jar and we put them inside and we let her have one pretty much whenever within reason she wanted one at a time that was designated for eating, so a snack time or a meal time. So we don't graze in our household. That is a pattern that might work or might be necessary in some neurodivergent households, but by and large you want to try and stick to a flexible eating schedule, and then within that schedule you're pretty flexible with what your kids might want to eat. And again, I'm not a dietitian, but Dr. Taylor, not me, Dr. Taylor, the other Dr. Taylor, Dr. Taylor Arnold. But let me share my little TikTok that was about the Dum Dum lollipops and what we did in my home. Pediatric dentist here. Do you have kids that are obsessed with candy? Here's what you need. A clear glass jar full of that candy that they basically have ready access to anytime that you're serving food. Now the caveat and how you keep that from impacting their cavity risk is you have designated meal times and snack time. And then for every meal and every snack, when you think of a snack as a mini meal, you serve the 4 groups. So you've got a carb, usually that's a safe food like a piece of candy or some crackers, something they love and you know will get them eating, because for the typical child, eating begets eating. And then you also want to serve a fat, a protein, and or a fiber. You may not always have all 3. But something else that they're going to be chewing that's going to stimulate salivary flow. In the act of eating that, it's going to remove that candy or carb from their teeth and move it to their tummy. So that's lowering their cavity risk. What you're going to find having this candy jar around is it's going to reduce the specialness. They're not going to have this scarcity mindset around candy. It's not something they can rarely get, that they have to earn, that have to be bad and cheat to get. They're not going to hide it, and you'll find candy wrappers after you get home from the dentist visit when they suddenly had cavities diagnosed when you got x-rays. You're like, where did it even come from? They're hiding candy in their room. I can't tell you how often that happens. It's because candy is seen as this item. It's put on a pedestal. So don't put it on a pedestal. Have it in a clear jar. Keep that jar pretty much always full so they have in their mind that it's always there. And let them have a piece with breakfast, with lunch, with dinner. Let them eat 2 or 3. And you can stop. You can say, hey, we're going to save some for later. We're only going to have 2 today. We're only going to have 3 or whatever. But I promise with my kids, every food item or candy they've ever gotten kind of obsessed with, this is what I do. I put it in a glass jar and make it readily available. And very quickly they move on. My kids already, it's been like 2-3 days. I had these with breakfast. They take 2 licks of the lollipop and then they leave it on their tray. They don't even finish it. So very, very quickly, it loses its specialness. They know it's just kind of always there. If they want one, they can have one. So if you've got a kiddo obsessed with a certain treat, you can try this. So the big thing for me and why candy is not bad is because I want my kids to have a good relationship with candy. I don't want them to sneak candy. I don't want them to hoard candy. I don't want them, when they get candy on Halloween, to feel like they need to engorge themselves on candy, because if they don't eat it now, they'll never get it again. Like, they know that candy's gonna be there. They eat what they want to. They eat to satiety, to enjoying and trying new foods. And they oftentimes will just leave candy behind. So they have it at many meals. They'll ask for something, although not always. I put something sweet in their lunch. And then my big thing is eating on that schedule so they're not grazing on candy all the time. They can have it with meal with other foods so it's washed away and off of their teeth. And I'm mitigating risk in other ways, usually with xylitol gum. So the types that I like are Epic, Pure, Spry, and Zellies, or something like a Basic Bite. I have been a sponsor of Basic Bites before. I even have a recent little Halloween ditty like promo I did for them. I will show you that. It's pretty cute, I think.
This is your friendly reminder from your feed's pediatric dentist that October is nearly upon us, and that means candy.
I'm just kidding, you guys. I am not a Halloween-hating, fear-mongering, candy-canceling dentist. Let your kids enjoy their Halloween candy. Just do it smartly with Basic Bites on board. You've heard me before talk about placing a delicious chocolate or caramel Basic Bites chew into my kids' lunches to help clean off any sticky, stuck-on food debris from like crackers or chips that could promote cavities if left in their teeth. I use Basic Bites in a similar way after Halloween, really after any high-risk snack food like chips, crackers, candy, fruit leathers, that kind of stuff. If there are sugars or processed carbs stuck in their teeth, the Basic Bites chew helps to pull them out. Then it does the amazing work of coating the teeth with a protective, nature-inspired breakthrough blend of vital nutrients: calcium, bicarbonate, and arginine that are clinically shown to support enamel health. You heard that right. This delicious chocolatey, chewy candy is actually good for their teeth. Though they're sweet, they are sugar-free, containing the sugar alcohols maltitol and xylitol, which means they do not promote tooth decay. And they even go above and beyond by neutralizing harmful acids via arginine and bicarbonate and fortifying the enamel with calcium, which promotes remineralization. So let them eat their favorite candy. Just finish it off with a delectable and Mama Dentist approved Basic Bite. So that was an ad that I did for Basic Bites, but I have loved Basic Bites long before I partnered with them, and it's because it helps to neutralize pH and clean off food that's stuck onto the teeth, so like crackers, chips, things like that. And they also work in the pediatric dental world really well as a toothbrushing motivator. So my kids have one after they finish their lunch. I pack it in their lunch. It's the last thing that they eat after their lunch to clean off their teeth and get some beneficial calcium, arginine, bicarbonate, things that promote dental health. They're gonna help clean off the tooth and then neutralize the pH. And we know if you watch some of my other stuff, the problem with cavities is acid. Acid produced by cavity-causing bacteria is what over time eats away at our enamel and makes holes. So if you can neutralize that pH or clean off the food debris and bacteria, you're doing a good job. You're mitigating that risk. So Basic Bites can be a good tool for doing that. Lunchbox in our house, and then also after toothbrushing. So a Basic Bite can work in concert with the ingredients in your child's toothpaste. It does not negate them. So you're just fine to brush, use that fluoride toothpaste, spit it out, and then have a Basic Bite afterward. It comes in chocolate caramel flavor. Again, I have partnered with them in the past. I've made some ads for them. I'm not an affiliate though. I have an Amazon link down below to my course, kind of Amazon idea list, where everything I talk about in my course, products and things, I just link via Amazon, and you can go find that easily in the description if you want to, and you can support me in that way. And also, while you're there, check out my course if you want to learn more and dive more into just cavity prevention and mitigating risk of cavity formation. It is so much more complex than avoid candy, and avoid candy is not a good answer. If your dentist is just out there like, your kid has cavities, just cut out the candy, that's not the answer. You need to dig deeper. Why do they have cavities? It's not just the candy. It's probably, or most often, it is because they're sneaking that candy. They're having that candy over prolonged periods of time. There's no mitigation of the effect of that sugar feeding the bacteria, creating acid. You're not reducing or minimizing the impact of that acidity. So your child is fine to have candy, but try to do it in a way that mitigates risk. And I talk about that a lot in my course, which is linked below. But I hope that is helpful, that you realize that candy is not bad, that you'll go check out Dr. Taylor Arnold and learn about intuitive eating, about non-dichotomous food labeling. So we're not calling stuff good, bad, healthy, unhealthy, clean, unclean. Get rid of that. Get rid of it. It leads to disordered eating, and you don't want kids to have disordered eating habits. You don't want them yourself. So reparent yourself, reestablish a good, healthy relationship with food. I guess dichotomy, am I being hypocritical? I don't think so. I think you can call it a healthy relationship with food, but food itself is not healthy or unhealthy. I think that's okay. I think that's okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that's okay. So you want to have a healthy relationship with food. You want your children to have the same thing. And Taylor has helped me a lot in my journey to do that. I hope this was helpful, at least from a pediatric dentist. So in my house for Halloween, we go and we enjoy Halloween and trick-or-treating. We enjoy getting a whole bucket full of candy. We bring it home, and there's a big to-do about new candies and trying them together. Oh, that tastes like this, or this is crunchy, or this is sour. And we talk about it with descriptive language, and it's never good. It's never bad. It's never moral. It's just like, this is yummy, or wow, this is really sour and made my face squunch up, and whatever. And they enjoy that on the evening of, and they don't feel like they have to engorge themselves on it and binge on it, because it's going to be there the next day. And so their buckets stay around on the countertop for a few days, and the faster they eat it, the more they try. Hey, not bad. Then you're getting rid of the giant bucket of candy, but it's just something they can choose from. We have bags of candy just regularly in our pantry too, because hey, my doctor husband and I like candy too. So it's okay to enjoy candy just once in a while with a meal, not all day long grazing and not sneaking it. When it loses that power, when it's not something that's just drawing them to it because it's forbidden, they can't have it, it's bad. When that's out of the story, then it just becomes another thing on their plate. And so my kids will eat all their broccoli and they'll leave half their sweet tart rope. True story. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, be sure to ask me below. Hit that subscribe and join button. You'll be able to answer my polls that will guide future content. You're probably not going to see as much long form from me, so be sure that you are following and engaging with my content so that I show up on the algorithm in the shorts feed, but nothing else. Just hit the little bell and subscribe, and you'll be notified when I post new stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for checking it out. Go check out my friend Dr. Taylor Arnold, and then here is the video that YouTube wants you to watch next.